Smorgasbord Radio Show.
And good day to you. This is the SmorgShow Podcast, and this is Dave, actually, filling in for Chris, who usually is here first, but for some reason he's a little bit late. Usually Chris sends the helicopter for me, but today I got the ride in the Pinto, and I think Chris is going to be arriving just a little bit later. We have a jam-packed show for you. Today we're going to be talking some blues, because when I get up in the morning I say blues. And this is the SmorgShow Podcast.
Hey!
There he is.
Yeah, how?
Ow!
How you doing, Dave? Thanks for holding the fort down for me.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's been a while since I've been in this smoky studio with the red light. I don't know why it's always a red light. I won't ask, but
This is the red light district.
apparently this is the red light of podcasts.
Yes.
Right here.
Welcome to the Blues Lounge.
Liking it.
Yeah.
So how you be?
Bees, good. Last time we were together was in our car, my car. We had just picked you up before the blues gig, which we're going to get into pretty extensively here in a little bit.
That's right.
But a couple weeks have gone by since then. First of all, before I do anything, I want to apologize to our audience for episode 106. Is that right? What's our last episode? Whatever the last episode was. The last episode was awful. Now, this is the one that led up to picking you up, and we talked in the car for the last 15 minutes or so of the show.
That was you and Jerry?
Yes.
Okay. I thought they were all the same one, where they were divided up.
It was the same episode, but we did 45 minutes in the studio, and then when we picked you up, I listened back to the episode, and it was pretty much Jerry's show. I just let him go, and he talked for about a half hour about his diversity training at the library.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to hear that. I haven't heard that episode.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, it went on too long, I think. I didn't have the interview skills that I probably should really nurture a little bit more to steer him back into, and I didn't. I just let him go, and it probably was about 15 minutes too long. So anyway, it wasn't one of our best ones, but hey, it's authentic. You know, that's what these shows are. We put them out there. We don't do any editing afterwards. It is what it is. So I'll just put that behind us.
Okay. And it's an interesting topic, too, what he was talking about. But like you say, sometimes you have to just rein Jerry in a little bit, because he'll just go from one thought to the next and keep going.
Yeah.
Which is interesting if you know Jerry, but then if you're really trying to follow a train of thought, sometimes you do have to steer it a little.
But I think even he recognized that it was going off topic too much, and he didn't really have a path back. So it is what it is. So we're going to try to make it up for you today. And since then, I had my high school graduation. I decided to go after all.
You went to your graduation?
I did. 35. Oh, man.
You mean your reunion?
Sorry. Yes.
Okay, because I thought you were just telling me that you just graduated high school.
Yes. No, sorry. Did I say that? No, my 35-year high school reunion.
Okay.
So it was at the Loyal Order of Moose.
I used to play baseball for Moose.
You did, yeah.
First base. Southpaw.
I walked in, and I just headed to the main hall, which was like a bar. And everybody sitting around the bar looked like they were 20 years older than I was. And I had a similar experience for my 25th where I walked in and I said, man, these people look old. So I started to turn away, and they said, hey, Chris, come on in. It was my class. So I thought, okay, maybe this is my class and I just need to hang out for a little bit longer. But no, these people were literally in their 70s. But I didn't know, because sometimes, people
change.
No, they said, no, it's upstairs. And so I went upstairs like, oh, okay, I recognize some of these people now. So what happened to my blues? Killing my buzz.
Well, the band's got to take a pause for the cause.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. These guys are good. By the way, this is Baba's old band.
Oh, Baba's on this.
Yeah. Well, Baba's not in it. The band left him. When Baba went back to India.
So that's why they sound better now.
Yeah. Yeah. So just yeah. Baba's blues.
When you take the sitar sound out of the blues, it helps.
It does. It really does. So anyway, I just went upstairs and recognized the people, hung out with them, ran into Marty Udicious. Marty, you do the dishes. Yes. Yes. This is the guy who used to, I think, give us a hard time back in the station and used to go to Mr. Moore a lot.
Well, I don't want to be
hard
on him, but I mean, I remember just one particular show I did. He kind of turned me in, and then it backfired a little bit because Mr. Moore said, hey, I thought it was okay. I liked it.
That was the reincarnation show?
The reincarnation episode.
No, but Marty was good. He was nice. I got no issues with him.
Good, great. I'm glad he's doing well.
But he was the only one really from the DGC days that I saw there. Other than that, it was just the cheerleaders are talking to me again. They never did before, but they did.
So you're cool now.
I'm cool now.
Or they're not cool anymore.
Yeah, I think I think we met in the halfway in the middle somewhere. So that's about it. What else? That's it for me. Anything going on with you? I'm
just moving forward in the video direction, but keeping in mind that the radio is still at the heart of everything, of who I am and what I'm about. But I'm just expanding because I wanted to go in the video direction mainly because I wanted to become just better at editing and telling storytelling. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like I had hit a brick wall with the radio storytelling. Like there was only so far I could go.
Yeah.
So it's so great that we can continue this interest on your podcast. And then I can also move in this other direction with the video. It's frustrating because, I'm 54 and learning something brand new, it hasn't been easy. The learning curve has been very, very steep. And thankfully I'm around some people that are willing to teach me.
Well, technology just grows leaps and bounds.
That's right.
Exponentially, quickly. And it's tough to keep up.
It's true. And just the thought of trying to pick up a new skill, I think the older you get a little more, I know how to do this, so I'll just keep doing that. So trying to do something new, it's been pretty scary and also fun. So it's both.
Good.
It's not like I feel at ease with it quite at this point yet.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's when you know you're growing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to work on some projects that mean something to me now. Mm-hmm. So that means a lot.
Yeah.
Because at first the projects were, projects for clients and all that, and you're learning your skills and you want to give them the best possible result. But then when you start working on a project that actually means something to you, it just adds another dimension.
Yeah.
It helps you to jump in even more.
Yeah. That's good.
So some of these music projects that I've taken on have really just helped me use this technology in a storytelling way that it has become more meaningful for me.
So that led you to this gig that we went to a couple weeks ago to see John Primer.
Right. That was the 28th?
28th of September. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
In Westmont.
It was a process. My first goal was to do an interview with John Primer because I'm a student of the guitar and in blues in particular. I've been listening to John Primer for a long time, since his first solo album came out, which was around the early 90s or so, somewhere in there. And so I have that album, and then he's come out with so many. And John used to play with Muddy Waters during the last 3 to 4 years of Muddy's life until Muddy passed. And then he went
on, what, 82, 83? 83, yeah.
Think, yeah. And so then John Primer went on to play with Magic Slim, who was another major artist here, and he's no longer with us either. But I've seen John Primer play in Magic Slim's band, but I didn't know him by name yet. So I didn't find out who he was until he became a solo artist.
Wow.
Then I knew who he was. And then I was able to go back and say, oh, okay. I've got the Chicago Fest video where you're playing with Muddy, along with Rick Herrera, another incredible traditional blues guitarist here in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
So then I was able to kind of take some steps back and say, okay, now I see where John Primer came from.
Yeah.
So I was able to go back and reach back and make some connections that I didn't have.
Well, I was really impressed with John Primer. That was a great night for me. I just was really getting into it.
Yeah.
I've downloaded a few of his albums already.
Oh, sure. He's an amazing performer. Just
So-
great. And he's played with everybody.
Yeah, I was just reading his profile here. This is on his website, Chicago blues legend. By the way, what style blues would you say this is? Did I get Chicago here? What is this?
Yeah. There's I asked John this question during the interview, and just real quick, just to wrap up the thought.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to do an interview with John, and I wanted it to be for your podcast here. So that's how it all started. And then eventually it just kind of morphed into, I wonder if they would be interested in getting some of this, on camera. So then that's how that other project started to develop. So that came almost as an afterthought.
Yeah.
Because the initial project was, could I just have a few minutes to talk to John about music?
Mm-hmm.
And basically I asked my questions from the point of view of a person who's studying blues guitar. So it's not a general kind of interview like, where were you born? When did you move to Chicago? Who did you play with? It wasn't like that. I mean, he was just assuming that I knew it already because I made a few references, and he kind of figured out, okay, so he knows my bio now.
Yeah.
So then I started asking just questions about the guitar, things that I really wanted to know.
So he probably got some questions that he's not used to getting too.
Right. So I think he enjoyed talking about the guitar because obviously he loves the guitar. And so I'm going to try, if anything comes up during the interview that's a little confusing, I'll try to clarify all that.
Yeah, definitely.
For all the listeners.
I'm sure he always gets the question, what was it like playing with Muddy Waters?
Yeah, right.
It's like, yeah.
So I
You focused on
avoided
him.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So
Yeah.
I'm anxious to hear the questions. You gave me the audio tracks to drop into the machine here,
Yeah.
and I haven't listened to them yet. So I'm going to listen to this from a perspective of first time. You're asking the questions.
Okay.
It'll be good. So on his website, Chicago Blues legend, as the band leader and lead guitarist for Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon, Magic Slim, and the Teardrops, John Primer's virtuosity? Yes, thank you. As a blues musician was forged by legends. John started playing on Maxwell Street, the birthplace of Chicago blues, and soon became the house band leader at the infamous Teresa's Lounge for 7 years alongside Sammy Lawhorn.
Yes.
My eyes are really bad. I need my readers again. Junior Wells,
Join
James
the club,
Cotton, and
brother.
others, having played or recorded with a who's who of blues greats, including Gary Clark Jr., Derek Trucks, Johnny Winter,
Yeah.
and Buddy Guy, to name a few. John Primer's personal accolades, including Lifetime Achievement Awards, reflect his countless contributions to the history of the blues. Yeah. So should we get into the interview?
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do here...
We could just set this up briefly. Is the thing that was a little might seem a little strange is that I was not on mic. I only mic'd John's responses, so it wasn't meant to be my part in the conversation. Wasn't really meant to be heard so much as John's answers. So that's the way I've got it to present it to you. Was that I'll set it up,
Yes.
and then we'll just hear. But you'll hear me responding a little bit in the background, but I wasn't on mic
Right.
because it wasn't meant to be the Dick Cavett show. It was.
Yeah.
If you're old enough to know who he is.
Yeah. The fact that I laughed means I'm old enough. Okay. So take it away. I'm all ready for you.
Okay, so the first thing we had to do was find a place to talk because the venue, Johnny's Blitz in Westmont,
Yeah.
was very loud in there.
Yes, it was.
And they had the PA going, so there was music playing, and then the crowd was really starting to pile in there because I think they started playing around 8:30 or 9,
Yeah,
something
it's
like
about
that.
8:30.
So by that time, it was so crowded and so noisy. So where are you going to do an interview?
Right.
You know, I mean, is there a back office you can go to? You know, so we just went outside. But you're going to hear
Street noise,
You're going to
cars.
hear street noise. You're going to hear people going, "Hey, John, you're awesome." You're going to hear some of
Really
that in the
excellent,
background.
yeah.
You're going to hear cars whizzing by. You're going to hear some sirens. Mm-hmm. So this is down to earth, my brother.
Jerry and I were waiting for you. We saw you outside, and we were sitting pretty close to where the musicians were because we wanted to get a good seat, and we were the first ones there.
Yeah.
We got to see you through the window interviewing him, and I sent you some pictures
Yeah,
of yourself.
thank you for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gave it a good feel, those pictures. I think it could supplement the website content maybe with some of those pictures.
Yeah, thanks for shooting those. Those are great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So then we went outside and, we got John mic'd up and we asked him to do a little mic test, which we have as one of our drops for the show because we asked John if he would just test the mic for us. So we got that.
Oh, yeah. Everything's good.
That's it.
And what was his other
It was
one?
like, hey,
Just going to keep the blues alive, man. That's all. Somebody got to do it.
yeah.
I love
it. That's permanent. That's part of the show now. So we finally got to talking and we got John all mic'd up and there were some people watching us do the interview from behind. So people started to gather when they saw that there was something happening. So just trying to set up the scene there a little bit.
Yeah.
But the first question I asked John was, how does it feel to have recently won 2 Blues Blast awards? There's a magazine, Blues Blast magazine, and John recently, within the last month, has won 2 awards, one for Best Male Blues Artist and the other for his most recent album. He won Best Soul Blues Album for his album called The Soul of a Blues Man, where he does covers of some great soul tunes.
I was not able to find that one out there, so I don't know where he's got that. Maybe it's not yet on the Apple and.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, because they were selling them there that night. I didn't know that it wasn't easily available. I'll have to find out about that.
Maybe I didn't do a good job searching, but I was searching for that title and I didn't see it in his selection.
Oh, okay.
So
it's got to be on the website somewhere.
maybe on his website.
Yeah.
Maybe it's exclusively available there.
So anyway, that was my first question. I just said, John, how are you celebrating your 2 Blues Blast awards?
It's a good thing. It's happened for me. I've been playing long enough. I've paid my dues to win something, but I feel good, just to me, I'm happy for it, and I appreciate everyone that voted for me and that helped me to win it. And I'm not expecting to win another, but I hope I do. But I'm grateful for that. Thank God for the win that, man. That's a good thing, Blues Blast magazine for me. Now, I appreciate it. Now, hey, I'm just happy. I kind of, I don't hardly show emotion to things some things I don't, I just sit back and let it go.
I like that too.
But I don't show too much emotion because they can't. My family don't never figure me out. She said, you never get upset about nothing. You don't get you just don't like something happen. You just say it's happened. It's supposed to happen.
I've heard the same thing my whole life.
Yeah.
When you play, though.
Yeah, but I play,
you feel it.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, I play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very grateful to all the people voting in that Blues Blast award. Yeah. Hope to win a Grammy one day.
Yeah, I was just going to say. The
2
Grammys
times
next.
nominated, but I hope to win one day. Maybe I will. Anything can happen.
Oh, yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not gonna give up.
Yeah, I know that.
I keep my hopes up. I always got hopes. That's one thing. I got big hopes. I never always I never doubt. Things can happen.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that John felt like talking too, because sometimes you can get quick answers to questions. So I'm glad that he felt like sitting down and talking for a while.
You got him on a good night.
Yeah. Plus, I said I'm not going to take up too much of your time too, so it wasn't going to be a long interview. So I think that may have helped a little bit too.
Sure.
So then I went on to ask some questions, musical questions that somebody who studies guitar in particular would probably be interested in, or maybe anybody who wants to play blues, or maybe anybody who's just musically minded. But John plays slide guitar, and he's amazing at it, and it's so much fun to listen to him play slide. So, and most people know what that is, right? You put a metal or a plastic bar on your finger. It's a tube, yeah, I'm sorry. And then you slide that up and down the strings, and that style kind of started in Hawaii, right? I mean, that was kind of the origins of it.
Yeah.
So I just asked him, what particular slide tunings do you like to use? Because often when you play slide, not always, but often you will retune your guitar so that when you strum all the strings without touching any frets, you get a chord. So you don't have to fret. For example, if you're tuned to an E chord, you just have to strum all the strings open and you're playing an E chord. You don't have to fret, put your fingers down. So that's called some sort of open tuning, like an open E, for example. So I just asked John, what slide tunings do you like to use?
You know, most of the time I play in open E, but I can play it most all. I can tune it in any key. I can tune it in F, G, or whatever key I want to tune it in, B. But it's a trick to way, you know, the strings you put on your guitar, the tune that way. You just can't use regular A440. You got to get at least your big string be a 50 gauge and on down, you know. And you can tune in B, C, and L, any of those keys. But if you're in A440, those strings, you can tune it, but you can't tune the level. It won't tune in all those keys. So that's the best shot. The bigger the string, the more keys you can change.
And then do you raise your action too for slide?
Yeah, well, I can play it no matter. I play it on my regular guitars, and just the same height where I play my guitar, I've been playing it, you know. So I've been playing it that way, for the same action, you know. And, don't bother me with the slides, you know. I don't set it up for slide.
So when I asked him about action, that just means how high do you raise the strings off of the fretboard? Because some people have a special guitar that they only use for slide playing, and the strings will be higher up, so you don't have to press the fingers down when you play slide. You just move the tube across. So you're not pressing down, and I think it eliminates a little bit of the extra noise that you can get. And then he was talking about using thicker strings on the lower strings are thicker so that you can tune them lower and get some different tunings. That's what he was talking about. Like a 50, he's talking about a thicker strings for slide, thicker strings. That's what he was recommending. And
thanks for translating that.
I learned a lot that night.
I wish I could follow 10% of this.
Yeah, I'm trying
I'm
not
not
to.
a musician yet.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to alienate anybody, but I just wanted to ask questions that I really wanted to know as a student.
Sure, he's never gotten that question before.
So I hope that this is relevant to your audience. I certainly hope so.
I have no audience. This is for us.
Now, the next question I asked was about using a capo. Now, I don't know if you've ever used one of those, or I think Ali certainly has, where you can, usually you will use a capo if you're a singer and you prefer a certain key, but you still want that open string kind of sound. So let's say you're playing an E chord in one of the so-called cowboy chords at the low end of the guitar, but then you can't sing in that key. You want to sing in, say, G. So you can take a capo and put it over the third fret. So it's like moving the nut. If the nut is the part toward the head of the guitar where the strings move into the slots. Yeah. So it's like moving that up to the third fret. Then you can still play an E chord, but sonically it's playing a G. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're just changing the key, usually for the benefit of a singer.
Of the singer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Quite often that's the reason. So I asked John, do you use capos?
Well, you know, Mother used the capo, but he played like in E natural. When he played, if you play in E natural, you know, those chords. But you put the capo on there, if you're going to play in G, he played it like the same, like he in E natural, same key.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he use standard tuning, or was he in
regular tuning?
Oh, regular tuning.
You didn't tune the open keys, you tune A440. And if you want to play in F, he put the clap on the capo on F. Right. Play like in E or G, whatever he did. That's where he did it, yeah. And he the best guy that I ever seen and played with that could play like that in the A440 and put the capo on there and play in any key. Put it on there and play, you know. Doesn't matter.
Because the tuning gets out of whack so fast.
Yeah.
You use a capo.
Yeah, you got to be careful with it, how you put it on there, though, you know. It's depending on the guitar too. If you got a real good guitar, it'll stay there. Yeah.
Well, I remember that, the jazz strings, the thicker strings.
Yeah, the bigger string you can tune in to see, because I did Elmo James CD, tripping Elmo James, and I found out, that's where I learned that from, well, my wife's cousin, he genius on guitar, and so he told me what happened. No, he just didn't play he just didn't play it in D. He played in G, C, whatever key, but he tuned the guitar, he had big strings on that.
Yeah, so basically he was saying there that Muddy Waters used a capo, but John not so much. But because he played with Muddy, he knows the way Muddy played, and Muddy would use a capo, but he didn't use open tunings. He would play in the regular standard tuning. And that night when I was talking to John, I didn't realize at the time when John would say being tuned to A440, what he was saying was standard tuning. That's the term that you usually hear, standard tuning. Mm-hmm. And then when John said A440, when I first heard him say that, I didn't quite click exactly what he meant. But when I listened back to it, then I realized, oh, he's talking about standard tuning.
Yeah. Okay.
So Muddy didn't tune to these chords that I was talking about earlier. He just used the regular standard tuning, the way you would normally tune a guitar.
Okay.
With the capo.
Yeah.
Then the next question I asked was, when John first came to Chicago, he started learning. Well, actually, this might have been a little bit later than that, but one of the early teachers for John for playing slide and playing guitar was a guitarist named Sammy Lawhorn, who played with Muddy Waters. So I asked John a little bit about his experiences learning from Sammy Lawhorn.
Yeah, Sammy. Yeah, he didn't play much, but if he wanted to play Elmo James tune, he just dropped the big E in the A or something like that, the G or the D, and that's it. But he wouldn't tune the whole guitar. He just dropped that E down to D. That's the way Sammy played, and he didn't tune it.
Is that what you call drop D tuning?
Yeah,
Drop D?
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the way he would do it. And like Stevie Vaughan did that too. He dropped his that way too, and he played like you playing a regular A440.
Yeah.
He picked, play slide.
So it would be like he was playing an E, but it was actually an E flat.
Yeah.
So how did you approach Sammy about learning slide? Did you say, I want to learn this, can you show me? Or did you just try to copy him? Or?
No, I didn't really. He just told me to learn what he do. Don't try to be him, just learn what he do. Come on. I'm not going to be here all forever to play, so you learn what I do. You can't be me, he said. But just learn what I play. Learn that. It's okay. And don't worry about anyone that's playing lead guitar up there, because I was playing a lot of rhythm then. He said, don't worry about anybody coming up there and play all the lead and showing off, but all you got to do is play that real good rhythm behind them, and they'll be watching you. And that's true. A lot of musicians came to see me when I was Magic Slim to watch me play rhythm guitar with Slim.
Yeah, so the funny takeaway from this is that when Sammy Lawhorn would teach John something about the guitar, he would say, do what I'm doing, play it in your own way, but learn from me, but you'll never beat me. Mm-hmm. That's the funny takeaway. Yeah. That was his line, that you'll never beat me. And but unfortunately, Sammy had some issues, some drinking issues, so there were some nights where he couldn't play, and then John got to step up. But of course, that was a chance for him to shine with his solo playing and his slide playing. But what one thing he said toward the end there, which I personally now have learned to be true, is that when I was playing at the open stages, the blues jams, if you are playing a solid rhythm and you are really keeping it in the pocket, as they say, just you're right on beat and you're not missing a beat, the people tend to watch a solid rhythm player, even if someone is playing an incredible solo. If you're really locked into your rhythm, man, because that's what keeps people happy is the rhythms. So
right.
if you keep those rhythms strong and solid, the people are watching you. And I learned that that's true because when I was really on my game and playing a nice rhythm part, I noticed that people were just like staring at me.
Yeah.
Even though somebody was playing a great solo.
It is more engaging.
So anyway, that's the fun thing there about that is that he learned from Sammy. He said, you know, your rhythm, if your rhythm playing is great, people are going to be watching you instead of the soloist. And also when Sammy said, "Hey, you can't beat me,"
yeah,
which is
that was great.
Kind of an interesting student teacher dynamic there.
Sure.
So then I went on to ask John about another term that's used in Chicago blues. It's called the lump. And basically, you know what it sounds like, even if you haven't heard the term before.
I have not heard that term.
But the Chicago blues lump, it can start off with just one note, and it's a way that you play it in a swing feel. So it's kind of like dum da dum da dum.
Okay.
Da dum da dum. So it's kind of like that. But what John did was he added some extra notes to that when he was playing with Magic Slim. So he talks a little bit about how the Chicago lump originated and then how he added to it.
That's the way I learned. You know, I learned it from like a little bit. You know, Jimmy Reed is kind of playing that through Ed Taylor, stuff like that. But when I got with Magic Slim, they was playing a lump, but it was a lump, but they would only hold that one string. You know how the bass does. You used to hold that one string, and that's the way Magic Slim taught Nick, his brother, how to play the bass. Because Slim used to play bass with Magic Slim. So that he taught Nick how to play the bass, hold that one note, you know, every change. And so when I got with them, that's what they were doing. So then I put the other part to and I could see Slim. You see, he playing the rhythm and the chord and all at the same time, which Sammy said the same thing too. He played the chord and rhythm, same thing. So Magic Slim said, "Yeah, all I want you to do is play that lump. Play the lump. What I taught Nick, play the lump." So okay. So when I just add more to it, you know, add this string, you know.
And then you can go up again to the flat 7.
Yeah.
And then back down again.
So that's why we call it the lump.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a swing feel. Right?
Yeah.
It's swing.
Yeah.
And you don't hear that much in music anymore.
Fast or slow, either one. Fast, rhythm, middle, you know, lump. Yeah.
So he's basically saying there that he added some extra notes to the lump. And it's not like it hadn't been done before, but John just had a certain way of doing it where instead of going dum, da dum, da dum, he added a dum, da dum, da dum, da dum, da dum, da dum. He added some extra notes that kind of told your ear, okay, this is the chord that's being played right now. And then when the chord changed, then he'd go dum, da dum, da dum, da dum, da dum. Then he would change, when the chord changed, he would change the lump too. So anyway, he added some extra notes to make it a little more interesting, perhaps you might say.
Sure. Yeah.
But so he's kind of known for that. Then moving on, if you follow blues within the last so many years, at least 10 years, the direction of blues has gone a little bit more in a rock direction, and the same with country. Mm-hmm. So, which is alarming to some people, because if you like the traditional blues sound, it's harder to find that nowadays.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a club, you're going to hear a lot more rock, and it's not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's evolved.
Because there's nothing wrong with it, but I just don't want to lose the other as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about playing in a time capsule and just copying what people have done before, but it's a certain approach, like what we're hearing now. Like traditional blues often has a harmonica in there, you know, and maybe there's one, maybe two guitarists, you know, or in Muddy, of course, added piano.
That's right.
Pine Top Perkins and Otis Spann. And so there are certain traditional sounds. For me, when I hear the harp, the harmonica, I just go, okay, now there's a traditional sound here.
Yes.
And so for me, that's almost an essential element.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that.
Don't want to lose that part of it. So I just asked him, what's the future of I'm sorry. I actually went to the next question first.
I can go out of order.
It doesn't matter. Well, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is like 7th question.
Yeah, this would actually be the last one.
Oh, the 8th?
Because I was asking him. I can't believe.
How would you describe the Chicago blues sound?
Yeah. The question actually, we're on number 7, right?
Okay. I'm all ready for it.
Okay. So, basically, the question I asked would be number 6. And sorry, I got a little.
That was next.
Yeah, sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Actually, it was the right question, but I was just confused the way I usually am. So, will the traditional blues still be strong in the future?
I think so. It's coming around. It'll die down a little bit, but it's never go away. Blues, the real blues is not gonna never go away. It'll die down a little bit, but it'll come back up, rise and fall. But it's gonna always be around regardless. But there's some out there, people, the young folks and old people out there like blues, like it is now today. There's some old people like blues and some young people like it, and some don't, some do. Yeah, so it'll be here.
So you see a lot of young people at your shows then?
Yeah, a lot of young people come to shows and things. They love it, especially in Europe. A lot of them in Europe come around, and we're out here too.
What are those audiences like in Europe?
Oh, they're great, man, great. They appreciate what you do. They love it. They enjoy it. They roll out the red carpet for you. Yeah, you be treated nice, and they be packed house. They love it. Yeah.
That crowd was very young that night, relatively young.
Yeah.
And they were digging it. He was going off their energy. It was a great show.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you know, working in marketing, it's a key thing to keep something going. You just keep needing to reach the younger audiences to perpetuate it further.
That's right.
So hopefully that's happening. And it seems like it's always been this way, that in Europe, they seem to be a lot more appreciative of what we have here musically than we appreciate it. It's just kind of the way it is. Sure. I don't know if it's just like you go on vacation and, wow, this place is so great because it's so different.
It's different, yeah.
I don't know if it's that, but
take it for granted if it's always around you.
Yeah, and a lot of musicians have had to move to Paris or someplace in Europe to make a living, which was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, and of course the British players would say the same thing. Like, hey, you guys don't even realize what you've got. The Rolling Stones recorded Little Red Rooster, and it became this huge hit, and it had been around here for so long.
Yeah.
But when they did it there, people said, wow, what is this? And they're like, hey, man, this is right from, it's right there in Chicago. You guys have this stuff already. So anyway, the Rolling Stones came to teach us a lesson.
Right.
About what we had. Then I moved on basically to ask John a little bit of a follow-up to the last question about how the blues has been changing. So I asked him, has his style changed at all through the years?
Actually, when I was playing with a lot of people, I never tried to copy their style. Cause like I said, Sammy told me, be yourself, learn your style, play what I learned, but keep your style. So, I think, I learned, you never get too old to learn. So I learned a lot since I've been playing, I didn't know it. I knew how to play guitar and stuff like that, but I don't learn so much now. It just come to me naturally, because I used to always looking down, wasn't sure what I'm playing, head down. But now I close my eyes and play, all I don't have to think about where I'm going, just go.
Because when you already knew all of Muddy's songs, a lot of them when he first heard you, right?
Before I studied his music, man. Him and Jimmy Reed was the most of the people I studied. But I Lightning Hawk and all them people, man. I studied all their music. But Muddy was the number one stuff, that I always like, because it was easier for me to play, and it was there. It was the music, the blues, the real blues with the feeling.
Yeah, so I learned again from experience what John was talking about there was that when I would be at these blues jams, I would always be looking at my guitar. What are my fingers doing? Am I on the right chord? Am I in key? Am I in the right place on the neck where I want to be? But he just said over the years, he doesn't even look anymore. He just can play. You keep your eye contact with the audience, which is so much more powerful. So that's something I really appreciate, when somebody can play without looking at the guitar. It's just, or whatever instrument they're playing.
I saw that night. He was making eye contact. He was playing to the cameras. People had their cell phones out, and
I'm loving it too, smiling at the
he
cameras.
was having a blast. And I want to see him again. You gotta let me know if he's ever back.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll do that again. So yeah, that was something I've always noticed is that the people that can play without looking, and they can even change position and move higher up, and they're not even looking where they're going. They might make a quick glance possibly, just to make sure they're in the right spot, and then they're just back at making the eye contact with the audience.
Yep.
That's impressive.
That's impressive, yeah.
And it helps you connect with the artist. And then the last question I asked was basically, you hear these terms, Chicago blues, Texas blues, East Coast, West Coast. I just basically asked him, how would you describe the Chicago blues sound?
It's not different, regardless of where you are. What the blues is, it's not. It's the people's. It's the way they play, but all blues is the same. They just got a different style, but they play the blues different style. They're all the same with the blues. They got their style, because they say we play different than they do. Well. And we say the same thing, but I don't think so. It's just, it's just they style, the way they play it, But blues is the same wherever you play it, wherever city or town you go. The blues is the blues. It's the people's. Some, they the way they play it. They got their own style, own feeling. And that's good. And that's good for you, you expressing yourself with the way you play it. Hey, some people say, well, he ain't playing no blues. Yeah, no, but hey, that's his blues. Right. Or his or her blues,
And no one can be a better you than you. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but I mean,
and whatever they
be you, right?
And whatever they play it good. I like whatever they do, they play it good. No, it's just different. Ain't no different.
Well, thanks a lot for talking to me, John. I really appreciate it. I've been listening to you for a long time.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you.
I study your stuff, and we're looking forward to hearing you tonight.
We just gonna keep the blues alive, man. That's all.
Yeah.
Somebody got to do it.
There it is.
That's a good way to nice bookend there.
Yeah.
Now, excellent interview.
Thank you. What a great experience. So I just thank you to John, and thank you to his management, and to you for putting it over the interweb.
Absolutely. You really held your own there. I mean, you were talking to a legend here, a great, and you were able to just communicate on a different level, on his level. I'm impressed.
I felt that right away, that when we started talking, it was two people talking instead of interviewer, interviewee.
Yeah.
I didn't have that feeling. I felt like that barrier wasn't even there.
Yeah.
So hopefully there will be some more to come.
Breaking news flash. Delhi man is mistaken for a Bollywood sex symbol. I am Baba Gonesh, your humble international news correspondent, and this is Breaking Baba News. A man from Delhi has complained to the police that he has been receiving hundreds of phone calls from fans of Bollywood actress Sunny Leone after his number was used in her recent movie, Arjun Patiala. So far, he has received hundreds of phone calls. The callers tell him that they want to talk to Sunny Leone. He tried to convince them that it is not her phone number. It all started with a scene from the recently released film Arjun Patiala, a romantic comedy about a small-town policeman, where the character played by Leone shares her phone number with another character in the film. The victim, 27-year-old Puneet Agarwal, a resident of Pitimura, told the BBC he had been receiving more than 100 calls a day since the movie was released on 26 July. I don't even dream anymore, he says. The phone keeps ringing and ringing until 4 in the morning. The calls are disrupting his life to such an extent that he is taking legal action to try to get the film edited so his phone number is bleeped out. Leone is a former American porn star who has since broken into Bollywood. She has acted in erotic thrillers and adult comedies and is often portrayed as a sex symbol. So perhaps it is not surprising that men from across India and even the world are calling Mr. Agarwal because they believe it is really her number. And Mr. Agarwal is tired of it. The film producers should have at least called to check if it is a real number, he told the BBC. The director of Arjun Patiala declined to comment. In the week since the film hit the screens, Mr. Agarwal has not been able to work, sleep, or even eat his meals in peace. But giving up a phone number that he has had for years is not an option, he says. It's connected to my business, and many old friends have this number. I, Baba Gonesh, have spoken to Mr. Agarwal, and he told me to the great extent of his anxiety.
सर मेरा नाम पुनीत अग्रवाल है, मैं पीतमपुरा दिल्ली का रहने वाला हूँ। समस्या सर मेरे को ये है कि एक फ़िल्म प्रदर्शित हुई है हाल ही में जिसका नाम है अर्जुन पटियाला। उसमें सनी लियोनी ने जो मेरा नंबर है उसको अपना नंबर बताया है और लोगों के जब से ही फ़ोन आने चालू हो गए, मेरे पास 450 फ़ोन आ चुके हैं कम से कम।
Mr. Agarwal has received on the very first day of the film's release. The caller asked to speak to Leone and wouldn't believe Mr. Agarwal when he told him he had dialed the wrong number. An irritated Mr. Agarwal eventually hung up. The first 2, 3, even 10 calls, I thought somebody was playing prank on me. I thought maybe it was a friend of mine, but the calls kept coming. And they all asked him the same question, can I speak to Sunny Leone? He started to realize that what was really going on after many of the calls referred to the film. So I watched the movie, and my number was really there, Mr. Agarwal says. It wasn't the fault of the callers, they were really given my phone number. He says he tried to register a police complaint, but the police were unable to help since the callers were not committing a criminal offense. Instead, they suggested that he approach a court. Mr. Agarwal has since filed a petition to have his number removed from the film. He doesn't want to sue the producers, but says he just wants to make sure his phone number isn't publicized further, such as when the film becomes available on streaming networks. He also says he wants to prevent this from happening to anybody else. All the mornings are quiet until about 8:30, and then the calls start. After that, the phone rings every 2 to 3 minutes for the rest of the day, making it impossible for him to concentrate on anything he is doing. Mr. Agarwal has received phones from Italy, Dubai, Pakistan, and Australia. His most persistent caller, however, has been from New Zealand. When Mr. Agarwal didn't answer the phone, the caller began messaging him on WhatsApp, harassing him to accept a video call. When Mr. Agarwal refused, the man sent photos of himself and asked for them to be shown to Leone, and for photos of her to be sent to him. So far, all but 2 callers have been men. The women wanted to speak to any actor, not Leone. When I said I cannot help her, one of the women asked me to speak for her for some time. I said that would not be possible and hung up. But the calls can quickly turn dark, and there is regular verbal abuse. It starts politely, but once I say I do not know her, they start abusing me. They say they know where I live and they will come to teach me a lesson. I am being harassed by many callers. People are abusing me and asking me to do dirty favors. I have filed a police complaint, but till now the police has not taken any action, even after giving me assurances, he said. He hopes the calls will stop soon. In the meantime, he's found a solution to keep the calls short. I just tell them that she has gone to have a bath and cannot speak right now. As for Sunny Leone's reaction to the incident, Baba has obtained an exclusive apology from the actress. When I spoke to her last week, she offered this heartfelt apology to Mr. Agarwal.
Sorry. Sorry, guy. Didn't mean for that to happen to you. Must get some really interesting people calling.
And this has been Breaking Baba News. I was going down the road. I was hungry and cold. I was looking for my woman, but they won't let me go. I got the blues, stuck in a slam of blues. Woo! I was working on the road crew, and boy, did my back ache. So I turned to my friend, and I said, hey, Jake, you want to get out of here? Do you want to leave? Do you want to find yourself a woman to get you relieved? I got the blues, stuck in a slam of blues. Woo! Now I belong to Stateville, and as prisons go, this one ain't too bad, but they beat me, you know. Now I'm not a thinking man, but I know what I want. My woman's coming along to get me and Jake out. I got the blues, stuck in a slam of blues. Tell it, tell it. Now here comes a car. No, that's not the one. I'm looking for my woman's. Oh yeah. So we can go on the run. Woo! Now here comes another one. It's her, you knows. She's coming to get me. No, there she goes. I got the blues, stuck in a slam of blues. Oh, tell it. No, it looks like I'm stuck here. Stuck here to stay. Looks like Jake is too. But that is okay. I've been here long enough. I've seen many escapes. Looks like ours was a flood with a lot of mistakes.
All right.
Going back on that one.
Well, so still trying to get over that Baba breaking news. That was interesting.
Oh, poor guy. That is just horrible.
That was terrible. Yeah. Baba's gone down this path lately. You haven't heard, but Baba Blue. He's been going to some uncharted territory with some of his content now.
Oh, you mean in the comedic sense?
Yes.
He's going blue.
He's gone blue. Yeah, last couple of episodes. I don't know if I like it, but hey, this is becoming an adult show now without Allie here. So who knows where it's going to go.
That's true. And Allie, I miss having Allie with us. It was always fun doing that together.
Yeah. Yeah, she's off apartment hunting now, which is she's going to be flying the coop. She'll be graduating here in a couple of months, and she's looking for an apartment with a gal pal. She is, assuming they both get a job at the same time, they're looking to head out in the spring. And then, of course, her wedding date is planned for September of 2021 at this point.
So that time just keeps flying by for you.
I'm going to need a therapy session.
When you have a young daughter. I mean, I just remember, when we were having conversations about, don't be nervous about going to high school.
Yeah.
Now it's moving out, marriage, college degree. Wow.
Yeah, this podcast coming up on 10 years in January has documented quite a bit of that journey. I mean, because she was, 11 years old when we started this thing.
Right.
So a lot of those conversations and those transitional phases in her life and my life have been documented on these 100+ episodes.
Which is nice. A lot of people use a camcorder. You've got it on video and audio.
Yeah. I mean, long after I'm gone, these files will be sitting out there on some hard drive being served out to all the platforms until somebody stops paying the bill.
Yeah, well, the aliens will come by and you might have some fans 1,000 years from now.
That's a good point. I got to worry about that now.
How do you market to an audience that hasn't even discovered you yet?
Oh, I know. Well, I've got auto pay set up. So long after I'm gone, as long as the credit card is open, these shows will continue to last. But once they turn the credit card off and the auto bill stops, shows are gone.
Yeah, maybe there won't even be money at that point.
No money. So
who knows?
If you're out there, you may want to download all these episodes now because they're on borrowed time. All right, sir. I think
the band needs to take a break.
Yeah, they've been going for a full hour here. So have we. So I think we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, Dave. Great interview again. And
thank you.
We will come back very soon. Oh, let's kick it off with this one. Yeah. All right. This has been the SmorgShow Podcast. I think this is episode 108. Recorded October 11th. Oh, yeah, I got a birthday coming up October 12th. Birthday coming up this Friday. Almost forgot.
So happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. Number 53, dialing up. Yeah, time keeps marching on. This has been SmorgShow Podcast. We're at SmorgShow.com, 312-95-SMORG, feedback at SmorgShowPodcast.com, and we are on all the platforms. Just search for SmorgShow and you'll find us. But you already have if you're listening to this, so congratulations. All right, man. We'll see you again soon.
All right.
We just gonna keep the blues alive, man. That's all. Somebody got to do it.